This is the plaintiff, George Veneziano. He says he sold some jewelry to the defendant who owns a jewelry store, and he lost the check. When he went back to the store to have them issue a new one, the defendant told him since 60 days passed, he can't reissue the check. He then asked for his gold back. The defendant said he sold it, and if he thinks he can keep his money and his gold, he's nuts. He's suing for $509.25 plus interest. This is the defendant, Kyle. He says this guy comes back after having the check he issued him 90 days earlier, requesting a new check. Well, his policy is he doesn't reissue checks after 60 days. He's sorry, but the jewelry's been melted down. This chump has threatened him, and he's not bending over backwards for anyone once he's threatened. He's accused of refusing a reissue.
All parties, please use your radio.
Welcome back to the People's Court. Next case on the docket. The plaintiff sold jewelry to the defendant's jewelry store, lost the check, and now the defendant won't cut him a new one. But the defendant says his policy, no checks after 60 days. It's the case of check, please.
Thank you, Douglas. George Veneziano, you are suing Kyle, who doesn't want his company name or his last name mentioned, for $509.25 plus interest, because according to you, they won't make good on a check. Tell me what happened here. How did you meet each other?
I had jewelry since I was young. My grandmother had given me, maybe when I was 14, during my first confirmation. So I had that jewelry for many, many years. I don't want to give my age. But I had that, and she passed a few years ago. I swore to myself I would keep it. Until she passed, and I decided it was time. I saw the gentleman shop here, trying to get things done.
So you went to his place to sell gold. How much
Correct.
gold did you bring? What did you bring? The items we just described, and what else?
I brought a snake necklace and a bracelet for my grandmother, and a crucifix.
Okay, all right. And then you were issued a check in the amount of $509.25.
Correct.
Okay, and then what happened?
I put the check in my pocket, and I said, okay, great. He told me which bank to go and cash it at, and...
Well, you can cash any bank you want.
Well, it was his bank, right, okay, correct. So, I didn't need the money at the time, so I just let it go, and...
Are you selling your grandmother's blessed jewelry of your first confirmation? You didn't even need the money? Okay.
Well, I mean, it was because after her death, and...
Okay, so anyway, what happens with the check?
You know, I put it away. I said I don't need the money right at this point. So later it was getting...
But that's not what we do with checks. We cash the checks and then we store the money that we don't need. So what happens? You lost the check?
I lost the check.
And then what happens?
Well, I go to the store and I said, I can't remember if it was him or not. There's two owners. And I said, you know, I lost the check. Can you just reissue another one? He looks and he goes, looks at the computer screen. He said, well, I'll have to call the bank to see if they cashed it. I said, okay. He said, call me back next week. I said, okay, no problem. I called back on the 10th, and he picks up the phone and transfers me to the other owner and says, the other owner said, well, what do you want me to do? I said, cash.
He wants you to reissue the check.
Right, and he said, well, we don't reissue checks. I said, well.
Why not?
Because we've had issues before, people double dip. You know, deposit with the phone, and I can't see it initially on the computer screen going
Yeah, but you don't have that right. You could, like, in other words, you have $509 of his jewelry. You want to just return it?
Well,
It's too late, right? It's melted. It's made into. It's in. You know.
Yeah.
Right.
This is also 3 months
so
down
how
the
do you
road.
figure that you can get away with yeah, he lost a check. I understand that, but. You know, that's an honest mistake. How is it that you should not have to pay that $509 because you just, on your own, decide that we don't reissue checks just in case you're a scammer? What if he's not a scammer, which he apparently isn't because he's suing you for it? Why wouldn't you just write another check and then, if he double dips, prosecute him or you sue him? Why would you say no and then defend the lawsuit? Because I can understand why you'd say no to most people, hope they go away and you can keep more money in your pocket. But when they file a lawsuit, what on earth is your defense?
I mean, that's why we have a policy in effect.
Show me the paperwork that you give him that says if you lose a check, we don't reissue it.
I don't hand them that paperwork. That paperwork is actually by the register.
Then when did he agree to that policy of yours? In other words, your policy that I've decided I want to keep my money. That's a policy, but it's not enforceable. It's only enforceable against the people you do business with if they agree to your policy somehow. So how is it that he agreed to your policy?
Okay, so if I write you a check for the car that you're giving me, and you lose the check, do I have to write you a new one to pay you?
You should.
Do I have to?
No.
Really? What do you say?
I think you have to.
Even if he was a bonehead and lost my check?
Yeah, but there's record that he never cashed it.
That's true.
Okay. So
What do you say? You're the tiebreaker.
I think she's right.
Why do you, what's the relationship? Yeah, your son?
that's what I said.
Good son. Going inside the courtroom.
He didn't agree to that policy, but that policy is visible by the register.
Visible by the register. Okay. Visible by the register. Oh, this little document, right? This pristine little perfect document that you photographed that looks like it's been there all of a minute with how pristine and clean and lily white it is. That one, he sees that. Is that your register? Because that looks like just some wall,
Yes.
some pillar.
There's
Yeah.
actually some other pictures.
Yeah, that's not going to work. I don't know how you would think that any judge with connected brain cells would let you get away with, not being a human being. According to him, you told him it was your partner whose idea this was. Is that accurate?
No.
Okay. Are you the partner?
No, I'm the owner.
Do you have a partner?
Yes.
Okay. Did he talk to the other guy and you're the one who said, I don't do that because I've been burned before? Are you the
Yes.
guy that said that?
Yes.
Oh, good. Because I thought that jerk would have left the other guy here to face the music, but you are the jerk that said that. All right, got it. So how do you think this is going, Kyle?
You tell me.
Well, what do you think is fair and just? Because that's what I'm about, right? So what do you think is fair and just?
I mean, either he gets the whole 509, or we take 100 off for the deposit, for the canceling the check and the service.
Why
fee.
would I let you take 100 off for canceling the check? I would let you take what it costs you to cancel the check, except for that you haven't even done that much. I mean, it would be one thing if you said to him, look, it costs us $25 to cancel the check. I'm happy to do that I'm going to deduct the $25. You couldn't even do that much. You caused a lawsuit to be filed against you, and that's why I think you're kind of a jerk, because you have no leg to stand on here. You literally just decided that you would make somebody pay $100 for you to rewrite a check that you owe. The guy lost the check. I mean, he's right when he says he has 6 months before it's stale. I don't know, It's certainly not your way. Pay the man $509.25 plus prejudgment statutory interest in your state, not the amount you said. Plus, of course, your court costs.
Thank you.
Okay.
So the judge thinks the defendant is a jerk. How do you respond to that?
No idea. I'm a jerk.
Well, I mean, don't you feel at all guilty about not giving him back his money? You're keeping
I never
his
saw
money.
this person in person afterwards.
Well, your other partner apparently did, right?
One time. I never saw this person afterwards. If they would have, come and see me, face to face, it would have been different.
He never talked to you about getting the check back.
In person, no. Thank you.
Okay, goodbye. How about that? Something else.
I don't know what to say. I'm speechless. What I did when he did refuse to replace the check
Yeah.
and said, "Sorry, you lost it. It's not our fault." I mean, I asked him, "What world are you living in?" I said, "Just reissue the check." And he said, "No." So hopefully he learned his lesson here today, and will change his policy.
Yeah, maybe you've learned a lesson too about holding on to a check. What do you think about that?
Yes, big lesson. Yes.
Big lesson indeed.
Yes.
All righty. Well, congratulations.
Thank you.
Okay, good enough for you. Oh, interesting, Harvey.
Okay, Doug, I mean, this is going to sound kind of circular, but I don't know that he has a duty to write another check. the duty he has is to pay for what he bought. And here, you know, he bought jewelry and he has to pay for it, and if that takes a lawsuit, so be it.